Hey everybody, Tom here with Hidden Beats, and today we are talking with Drew Gregory. How are you doing?
I'm doing very well, Tom. How are you?
Pretty good. This is my first interview back from covering a 10-day music festival. This is fun.
Nice. Where were you at?
I'm based in Ottawa, and we had Blues Fest here, so it was a bunch of local stuff, but it was a lot of extra work for sure.
Yeah, I bet. That's what
Hmm.
summer's about, though.
Yeah, the team's actually covering like there were three festivals all simultaneously, so it was a whole bunch of stuff going
Wow.
on. Yeah.
Yeah. Right on. Good for you guys.
Hmm. Well, we're here today to talk a bit about you, about your music, and your newest release, Neon Time. But for those who are new, can you give a little kind of intro about yourself?
Yeah, I'm based in southern Alberta, just outside of Calgary, and farm as well. Got family farm about an hour east of Calgary. Here is where we're at, and yeah, do the music just about both things full time, I guess. So busy in the summer for me as well, and the winter kind of get down. Usually get down to Nashville, do some songwriting and stuff down there. I've been doing that for about 10 years. I've got 6 albums out over the years, and yeah, just loving, pretty lucky to have two careers that I just love. So the farm gives me a lot of time to kind of come up with some songwriting ideas and things like that as well, and lots of time in the tractor to think about things. And that's kind of where I started singing, I guess, singing along to the radio, going back and forth all day. So yeah, just kind of fell in love with the music and get to do it all the time now.
Hmm. Do you have a musical family? Like, how did you start kind of really getting into things?
Yeah, mom and dad both loved music. Neither one of them played an instrument or anything, but it was definitely always blaring in the house and in the car, and lots of singing along and stuff. And I was at a friend's house when I would have been about 15, and they had a guitar, and I was just kind of picking it in the corner every time I was over there. They're like, "Why don't you buy a guitar? You seem to." I'm like, "Yeah, maybe I will." So finally bought my first guitar, and just never put it down. I just would play it from after school until I went to bed, and just really loved it. Fell in love with the performance side of things. So my mom's from Prince Edward Island originally, and her dad was the only other one that played. My grandpa out there, and I remember going out there, and just the kitchen parties and that kind of thing out there were always pretty popular, and everything kind of gathered around the guitar. So when I started playing and started learning some cover tunes and going to the parties, and everybody kind of surrounding the campfires, bonfires, and the kitchen parties out here kind of thing, I think that kind of is what made me fall in love, having seen that at a younger age, and then getting to do that where everybody's singing along with you. It was kind of fun. So yeah, didn't really
Hmm.
get into it as a career until after college, but always just did it for the love of playing.
For sure. Do you
Yeah.
remember like a first album or something that inspired kind of the way you sound?
Yeah, I think earlier on it was a lot of like, I would say, like classic rock and roll. That's what we had. Like, pretty dad's got a pretty good vinyl collection, and loved a lot of that southern rock. I think I always kind of was drawn to. I think that was on a lot, and he had some like Waylon Jennings and Steve Earle and that kind of stuff that kind of almost blended the country and the rock and roll. And
Hmm.
then I never really thought of songwriting, or I was just, again, just playing, cover songs at the parties. But when Eric Church's first album came out, the Sinners Like Me album, for me that was exactly what I wanted to do, songwrite. I kind of started thinking of, and maybe written two or three songs, and then that album came out, and I was like, okay, this is the direction I want to go, because I think he's always done a good job at blending that rock and roll and that country thing. And a funny story, my very first trip to Nashville, I stayed at the Music City Hostel. And when they took me back into my room, this would have been 2 years maybe after that album came out, when I first went down there and really started diving into the songwriting thing. And he takes me into the room, and there's one piece of art on the wall, and it's that cover, that Sinners Like Me album cover, blowing up on the wall. And it's just like, man, what those things that make you know you're doing what you're supposed to be doing. It was a pretty cool moment.
Kind of that perfect sign right there for you.
Yeah, I'm in the right spot. Absolutely.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Well, one of the big reasons we're here to talk today is about Neon Time, your new single that was released on the 14th, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. Yeah. Correct. You bet.
Tell a little story about that. How'd that come to fruition?
Yeah. So all the albums we've done so far have all been released independently. Always had a great manager. It's for Home Entertainment. Been really good to me, but yeah, no record label or anything. So a year ago, Bobby Wills, another great country artist out here in Alberta, came to me, and we were kind of working on a little something else, and he said, we should do a honky tonk record together. And I love honky tonk. I mean, we've played the honky tonks for so many years out here on the prairies and across Canada, and it's what you do in the winter. Summer's a lot of rodeo and stuff, but yeah, we've always loved that kind of brand of music and love playing that stuff live. So that was music to my ears, and he was starting this record label at that time, and so we've been kind of chatting over the whole year, and really wanted to lean into that honky tonk sound a little bit more, with still some of that kind of classic rock influence, and kind of make it our own thing. And so we got down to the one of the last trips I took down to Nashville. He hooked me up with Wade Kirby and Jim Collins, who are two incredible songwriters. These guys have written some big Blake Shelton, The Good Stuff. I think that's Jim's handle on Instagram, is The Good Stuff. So he's
Mhm.
the Kenny Chesney song, Big Green Tractor, and She Thinks My Tractor's Sexy, and I Saw God Today, and I can't, yeah, there's a lot of plaques on the wall. He had a nice house that we wrote in anyway. So they knew I was going after this honky tonk thing, and Bobby hooked me up with these guys, and Wade was really late. So Jim and I were going through song ideas, and kind of picking away at a few things, and Wade showed up, and he said, I was stuck in traffic, and this idea came to, that's just me on Neon Time. And we scrapped all the other ideas. We loved it, and he started kind of plucking a melody to it. And yeah, I think with their songwriting expertise, and my years of experience in the honky tonks, I think we come up with a pretty good song.
I actually literally wrote the word honky tonk question mark beside my notes for this, because it made me feel that, like the classic country, the honky tonk feel, like it made me feel that, which was fun to hear for sure.
That's good. Yeah, that's what we're going for, I think, with this whole. So that's going to be the first song off an album or an EP, whatever we end up with. We're going to head back down and work on it some more this winter, and do some more recording and stuff as well. So yeah, probably sometime in 2024 we'll have a whole album out. But I think that's the theme, because man, it's just so fun to play, and we've just kind of debuted it this weekend. We were at the Calgary Stampede, was our big festival out here, and
Hmm.
yeah, people seem pretty drawn to it. So I think it was a good choice for a first single, and a launch of the kind of the new sound, if you want to call it that.
Yeah, I was trying to get one of my team into the Stampede also, but it was a little bit too late for applications and stuff like that. So,
Yeah, it's crazy, man. It's
hmm,
yeah, they broke a bunch of records and stuff this year. It was really fun.
yeah, I think my dog is literally howling upstairs right now.
Oh, let me
I
hear.
just I can hear it faintly, and like, what's
Yeah.
going on now? Jesus. So one of the questions I love asking is, how do you think your music's evolved from back like a 2010 when you had Country Hurricane and up until now?
Yeah. I think it's kind of just evolved with my life, kind of the way it was cool. So last year I actually put together a great one thing I always wanted to do was have a vinyl record of my own, because we just grew up listening to vinyl, but it's so expensive to make vinyl. And the
Hmm.
last two albums we just kind of did as EPs. So I'm like, man, I'm gonna have to charge like $40 for like a 6 song album, to make it like worthwhile. So we
Yeah.
had the idea to instead create like a greatest hits kind of so far of hits of the decade, I said, or whatever. So yeah, we just kind of took some fan favorites from all those albums that I'd done before, and we got the fans really involved in the whole process of it and everything. And we're asking, like, we put polls out, and what's your favorite song from each album, and it was great, really good fan interaction on it. So yeah, we pulled 2 3 songs from every album, just so we could fill this vinyl record up. And it was awesome, just for process for me going back through all those songs. And I've always really tried to stay pretty true. I've never been great at writing songs from someone else's perspective or telling other people's stories. I think it's always kind of stuff I've really pulled from my own life. And as I kind of went through that, I realized we've stayed pretty true to that all along. So lyrically, I think it's just gotten more mature as I've kind of matured. And yeah, I think our sound has gotten. I've always worked really hard on vocals, and always still do lessons, and try to improve on that. So I think that, and the musicianship has all just gotten better and better along the way, and we've gotten in with better and better songwriters. But yeah, I still think lyrically a lot of the same themes, but yeah, just hope everything gets stronger as you put new things out, for sure.
Actually just kind of went into my next point about storytelling and music. which is probably the biggest key point I would think in music in general. But
Yeah.
has there been any hurdles that you've had to kind of overcome while you're putting stuff together or going through your career that kind of stand out?
Yeah, I don't know if there's anything. I've been very fortunate in this business. I think I've always had a pretty positive mindset around everything. So any hurdles that nothing that couldn't be overcome. I mean, we've always radio's always the age old struggle kind of thing, trying to
Hmm.
push for that, and we've done lots of like cross Canada, radio tours and everything. And but when we were doing those, we've got thrifty with it, and we did house concerts along the way, and built a lot of fans. And I don't know, I just always remember hearing somebody give a speech once saying you just got to find a way to like love all the parts of the job, and that always really kind of stuck with me. So like the sound check and the radio tours and the meeting people and the drives with the band, and it's like we're pretty lucky to get to do this, so yeah, I can't think of any specific hurdles. It's all been pretty great in my eyes anyways.
I mean, it's nice that you can enjoy those things too. Some people really find some of them hard, but
Yeah.
it is the journey that makes everything in the long run, really.
Totally. I think at the start, I was always, you're always just setting goals, and that's the advice I give to anybody starting out. Like you got to set goals. I mean, that's how you kind of get through it, but you got to set the goals that are going to bring you some joy along the way. Because when you get to the goal, and this was so true. I mean, I remember thinking of venues like, oh, if we could just play there, I'd be happy, and then we'd get it, and then we'd play it, and it's like, half an hour after the show, it's like, well, when can we come back, or what's the next big venue that we get? It's like it's so
Hmm.
fleeting when you get to that goal. So you better make sure you're setting goals that bring you some joy along the way.
Is there a moment that you think like your "I made it" moment? Is there something in your mind that you're going for?
Yeah, I remember. I don't know. I guess the radio thing's a little bit like that. The record deal was always kind of the thing that was up on that pedestal. And again, now I've got that, and then we're immediately, setting some more goals. So that was really cool. I don't know. I think a tour bus. That's
Okay.
the goal. When you get the tour bus, then you've you've made it. So just even going on like I say, we've done the cross Canada thing just for radio and different things out of our pocket, but I think it would be awesome to like, get on a bus and with a band and actually, whether you're renting the bus or you get one of your own. I think that's kind of when you can actually tour across the country, because it's not a cheap country to get across. So
Oh
we
no.
get, yeah, I mean, we were just out in Cavendish. We flew all the way out to PEI for the music festival out there, and luckily had some family. But yeah, we were staying at two or three different family members' places, and they were
Hmm.
driving us around, so we didn't have to get a vehicle, and yeah, keeping it all cheap. But again, it's just having so much fun with it. But yeah, I think the tour would be the made it thing. If we could actually get right across the country, it'd be pretty awesome.
Yeah, that would be kind of sweet. And would
Yeah.
would you do it with your face plastered on the side, like totally wrap the bus, or you just want to go low key?
We'll see. We'll see how it's how much attention that brings. That'd be pretty fun to do too. I've seen a few tour buses like that, and you're kind of, oh, that's pretty cool. But
Hmm.
yeah, with the
That to
name.
me, that looks like one of those ones like, oh man, these guys are doing something. If they got their face plastered on a bus, then that's like, okay, let's go check this out.
That's the sign. That's the made it sign. Face on a bus, I think.
Hmm.
You bet.
So you talked a bit about Calgary Stampede and kind of the music scene. What's your opinion on the scene in general around you, your local scene? How's it thriving?
I love the Alberta scene. I think it's really strong, and again, been very fortunate to just know a lot of people and win a few awards at the Alberta Country Music Awards, and just have some great friends in the industry. But it just seems like a really supportive industry. I think part of that is there's just a lot of work out here, so people can play a lot, and there's not as much competition probably for that reason. But even still, I mean, it was lean a few years ago, and I just see everybody posting about everybody's things and hyping each other up, and they've done a really good job with the Country Music Alberta Awards, to where it's become like a really big event that everybody really loves going to every year, and it's so many lobby jams and late night things, and I don't know, it's It doesn't feel like there's all these different levels. I find with the CCMAs, there's kind of like certain parties that are hard to get into for some
Hmm.
people, and I think just everybody, all the stars in Alberta are hanging out with the kids that are just starting, and I think that's what and become pretty strong. So love the local scene, but yeah, I do like the CCMAs too. We're going out to Hamilton in September, and it's always great to see people across the country and get all those provincial organizations together and helping each other out too. I think it's only makes the industry stronger.
Yeah, for sure. And I find looking at the different types of scenes, you talk about the kitchen parties on the coast and how fun that is. And it seems like the Calgary country music scene is so tight knit and fun, and everyone's kind of just looking for a good time. Where like I'm in
Yeah,
Ottawa, and like I'll use the hip hop scene here for a reference, is there's nobody supports each other. Everyone's kind of doing their own thing, and it seems
yeah,
like it's competition all the time. So
yeah.
it's nice to see that out there.
Yeah, I love it. Couldn't be happier to be part of the scene. And yeah, I mean, it's obviously country music, and we're in the West, and I mean, Stampede's a huge, like, I know, I played about seven. I played 6 public shows and 3 or 4 corporate ones this year. But there's years where it's like you can, if you want, you can play a breakfast and a afternoon gig and a evening gig and a night gig if you want, and just about do
Hmm.
that all 10 days. And everybody gets, I think you can maybe hear it in my voice, everybody gets real sick after Stampede because they just burn themselves out. But it's like you can make a lot of money in those 10 days. So I think having that as a base, to base your rest of your year round, it's like, oh, if we can get to Stampede. I remember when COVID came and everybody's like, as long as it's done by Stampede, and we're in
Yeah.
March, and it's like, yeah, it's okay as long as we're done by Stampede. And then it wasn't. And when they canceled that, and that was a big one because everybody was kind of waiting for the Stampede. And then like a day later, I remember just all these other things that we had booked, like also just scrapped. It's like, oh, if the Stampede's canceling, then we're all gonna have to as well. So I mean, everybody just kind of quit that day. So that was a pretty lean summer, but yeah, happy to be on the other side of that now.
Yeah, for sure. Is there any kind of local artists or, friends of yours that you think are doing some fun things that more people should know about?
Yeah, that's a great question. I got a buddy named Devin Cooper. I wrote my last single with, and I've written on a few of his. And he's a younger guy in Calgary there, and he's working so hard, but he's leaning way more into the rock and roll thing, and he can leans real hard into that rock and roll thing. And he played Stampede, and it was funny because we're all backstage at like Nashville North, and like all he's playing is these old classic rock songs and stuff, but everybody was eating it up. It was fun. So he's doing great. Mariah Stokes is another one that love out here. Kayla Sheedy's another. I don't know. There's just so much young talent coming up, and that makes the scene so strong too. And I remember being that age, and a lot of people older than me were really helpful to me. So I just trying to be that for them and champion them as much as possible too.
I've actually like I've chatted with Mariah before. Like there's definitely some great artists out there that are more people should know about for sure.
Yeah, and then again with the show, the amount of work available, it's kind of great to see people they're not all trying to do the same thing now. Like everybody's trying to be a little bit unique and make their own sound. And I think especially with radio maybe having a little less influence, and the streaming and stuff having a little more influence. I think there's a lot more room to not have to sound just one exact way. And I
Hmm.
think because of that, you're getting a lot of really cool variety here in Alberta too.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Is there some non go-to playlist that people wouldn't expect you're listening to?
I have my go-to is the Indigo playlist on Spotify. It's like the more chill. I don't know. It's yeah, maybe more Americana and stuff, but I love that's kind of where I even discovered like the Zach Bryans and that kind of stuff.
Hmm.
But they got some like Midland on there too, which is like kind of a little more the honky tonk kind of stuff that I've loved, the edgier stuff. So yeah, I kind of get these there's like some Texas country and stuff too. So kind of draw a little more influence from that now because I feel like they're doing a little less of the pop country thing. So yeah, any playlist like that I think is fits my ears.
For sure. Now, I do like to ask you a few questions, and since you said you were watching one of those before, you probably know some of them, but I pepper in some new ones here and there.
Sure, sure.
What's one thing you think should be asked more in an interview that's not asked enough?
Actually, the question you just asked me was awesome. who's in your local scene that you're liking, because I think yeah, again, just as we said before, just always wanting to promote this scene and everybody here, but when you get in an interview, just go right into talking about yourself mode kind of thing. So yeah, I love chatting with about other people, so that's a great one.
That's one of my favorites because there's so many people out there. It's impossible to hear everyone. So I get your insights on some new people potentially, and
Yeah,
everyone else will hear it too.
yeah, absolutely.
So this is a fun one. This is my first time asking this question.
Nice.
Who plays you in the movie about your life?
That is a good one. Let me think. Trying to think who I've been compared to. Is somebody said, what's the Haley Joel Osment? I get that a lot for for the doppelganger there. So maybe him.
I don't know
Yeah.
if you can grow a beard like you can though.
Yeah, yeah, maybe. I'll have to get some makeup in there, but yeah.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, geez, I can't think of anybody else right now. I don't watch enough TV anymore. Hardly get time.
Yeah, I can hear. I don't even have cable or anything like that, so there's always something to do.
Yeah, especially the summer.
What's something that you hope will take away from your music?
I think just to have a big smile. I think my favorite part of it all has just been playing live. So when we're recording, we really think of that and how it's gonna fit into the show and come across live. I again love all the parts of it, but to me, it's always been about that entertaining people, and I just want people to have a good time, or feel a little something. We've always tried to get quite a few feel good songs on there, but then some of those little bit more meaning ones, the heartbreak ones and stuff too, help people kind of get through some stuff. So just having a nice variety, just making sure that every album has a lot of variety on it to kind of get something for everybody. And then we feel like our shows do that a lot too. It's all pretty high energy and good fun, but we want to make sure everybody in the audience has a song that means something to them.
For sure. Probably the most important question I always ask is why music? Why do you keep walking this road of yours that you've chosen?
Yeah, I think that love was instilled very at a very young age, and somehow being in this business for probably about 12 years, like really fully pushing it as a career now, um, the actual love for playing live has not diminished at all. I just love it, and I was very fortunate very early with a really good band, and the band has become absolute family and very, very good friends, and just getting to spend a lot of time with them. I think who you're working with makes a huge difference in any career, obviously, but especially in music, there's really something special about that. So I think it's the people that I get to work with, and yeah, still just really love music. I still just love sitting down and listening to records and stuff too. So and just being thankful for everything that we get to do, I think is important as well. So yeah, lots of things keeping me going.
Yeah, music is definitely that's the guiding force in my life. I have speakers in every room of this house just so I can turn music wherever I go, type of thing.
Absolutely, that's the way to be.
hmm Last question. Are you happy?
Absolutely, I am. Yeah, that's a good question. I know, I know it's something I've thought about a lot lately. I mean, there'll be an inevitable decline at some point, in the career, and getting to that age where you wonder when that'll be. Hopefully, with this record label and everything, it's gonna keep going upwards for a little while here. But I was just thinking of like what the things are that just make me happy, and it's like I think I can always find a way to enjoy a show, and we've played, where there's more people in the band than there is in the venue. We've played those
hmm
shows, and I still just remember loving them because you're just playing music, and if you got two or three people just watching and into it and dancing around a little bit, there's just so much fun in it. So yeah, I think as long as I can keep playing, I don't think it's gonna matter what that looks like. I think it'll bring you a lot of joy for a lot of years.
For sure.
Yeah.
That's all I got written down. Or is there any kind of final words of wisdom you want to leave for everyone?
Awesome. No, just go check out Neon Time, and yeah, we're always pretty active online and everything too. We're getting into the TikTok thing quite a bit lately. We had some success on it with our last single, and just having a lot of fun on there. So come on and follow along.
hmm And you have you released the summer schedule a bit with some shows that have posted, I believe, on your socials and that.
Yeah, yeah, we'll be at we got a couple rodeos, Big Valley Jamboree coming up, which is a great one in Camrose as well. Getting out to Manitoba for one. I think we're done for the East for the summer anyways, but always looking at getting back out to Ontario, see you guys out there and stuff too. So yeah, we'll keep posted. Everything's at Drew Gregory Music, all my social handles, and then it's drewgregorymusic.com is where the tour schedule is too. So yeah, follow along.
We'll make sure to post that for everyone and
Sweet.
so they get all that they need.
Awesome.
And that's all I have. It was a pleasure getting to know you, getting to know a little bit more about your music and kind of seeing what makes you tick.
Likewise. Thank you very much for having me. It's very much appreciated.
For sure. And we'll keep in touch and hopefully we'll get to have another conversation at some point.
Would love to. Thank you.
No problem. You have a good one. Enjoy the rest of your day.